fun. We decided to get ourselves back in the game again with our podcast.
Probably the craziest story that you're ever going to hear about hockey.
We're going to be coming back to you on a regular basis.
You are listening to Squid and the Ultimate Leafs Fan.
Hello, Canada and hockey fans of the United States and Newfoundland, and an extra big hello to Canadian servicemen overseas.
Well, welcome everyone to the Squid and Ultimate Leaf Fan Show. I'm Mike Wilson, the Ultimate Leafs Fan, and joining me as always, my winger, Ricky Squid Vibes. Squid, how's things? Oh, little technical problem with the old guy. Mic is turned off. Your mic's turned off, Squid. No microphone. Hopefully our producer Glenn will give you a little alert. Yeah, I can't hear you. Your microphone's off, I think. So we got no sound all of a sudden. So we have to fix that. So in the meantime, I will add lid till we get Rick back on the air here. Well, I mean, the golf season's coming to an end, as I can tell from the amount of guys starting to show up at our beer league skates. Everybody's more and more guys. It's getting a little cooler, so they're avoiding from going out and playing the colder weather and playing later in the afternoon. So we're seeing a lot of that. So anyway, the other thing we want to talk about is obviously these Toronto Blue Jays. And as soon as they get Rick back on here, I don't know whether you can get your back or you back, Squid?
Yeah.
There you are. Finally, we had to get the microphone off.
Yeah, I just turned it on.
Well, folks, that's what you're giving to get a couple of 60-plus-year-olds working a podcast site. Like, this is why we do this, and this is why we're not on regular TV, because us two, for a lovable word, two morons, we couldn't probably turn these things on without our producer, Glenn. So as we started to say here, Squid, now don't touch any buttons, please. I keep my hands back here like this so I can't screw anything up. Now, golf season. As we were talking off air, it's getting a little cooler in the mornings, as I just started to allude to. And a lot of my beer league guys are playing in the afternoon to avoid the cold, frosty mornings.
Yeah, I still don't mind the mornings. I mean, it's a little bit chilly, but you wear pants, you wear a little, zip up or hoodie or something, and then it warms up and you take that off and everything's good. Just like today, I actually had long johns on this morning. And then about halfway through the round, I was just sweating because of that. But anyway, it's all good.
I got a buddy of mine that does that too. He's got a cover for his golf cart. He's got a heater that he plugs in. He's got the music going. He's got the winter gloves. Wears a hat. Like, he's got it all. And he'll play he'll play till January if they allow him.
Yeah, I have all that, the cover, the heater, all that kind of stuff, but I don't like driving. I'd rather walk.
Yeah.
And that keeps you a little bit warmer too.
Yeah, when you're moving like that. So speaking of which, so it's also with hockey season now in full bloom here. It's a lot of the legend stuff you're involved with starts heating up. So where can fans find you in the next week or so?
Well, we're going to be in Saskatchewan the 20th till the 24th. Mm-hmm. 3 games out there. And then the Easter Seals tournaments start. Mine in Kitchener and Brad Mays in Oakville. And then there's a lot of Leaf alumni games coming up. So it's going to be pretty busy in about a month and a half.
Well, the boys never complain about that, that's for sure. Well, speaking of busy, it was this very busy sports weekend in Toronto. Yesterday was not a good day for me, along with several other people, including you, with the Leafs losing, the Jays losing, and the Bills topping it up for the trifecta of losses last night, losing also, and losing handedly last night. So let's just stick with the Jays for the moment. Do they have a chance to come back in this Squid, down 2, which I think caught everybody a little off guard?
Well, I mean, anything can happen, Mike. You know that.
Yeah.
It's a game that if all of a sudden the bats start heating up a little bit, things could turn around. You never know. It's kind of a fickle game that look at what they did to the Yankees. They scored like 30 some runs in 4 games, and they haven't been able to do that in the 2 games so far. So you just never know when things will start clicking.
Well, that's the thing about baseball. As we were talking again off air, we said you can be no hit one day, and the next day you can have 25 hits and score 26 runs. I mean, it's just one of these crazy things about the game, and that's why, but hopefully they can get things a little bit more. I mean, 8 hits over 2 games is not going to do it. The middle of your order with 1 hit, and poor old Vladdy, who looked like he was on the road to where he should have been for the way he's paid, looked more like the old Vladdy from a couple of weeks ago, trying to deposit every ball into some guy's backyard in Bob Cajun. So playing right into Seattle's hands. And those pitchers are too good. He's not going to get away with that like he did against the Yankees. So he's got to be a little more disciplined along with some of these other guys. And the Jays haven't been great on the road all year. They played 500, but they're going to have to play a little better than that to come back with 2 out of 3 to extend this thing. So get it back on track, boys.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, it could be over in a real hurry in 2 more games if they don't get it turned around.
So before we get to the Leafs, there's Squid now. It's very early, only 3-4 games into the season for most. Anything in the league catch you by surprise so far, or it's just still sort of getting through the growing pains of the season?
Yeah, I mean, every team goes through a little bit of that at the beginning of the season, trying to figure out, the guys that are in or the guys that are out, who's playing with who, defense pairs, that type of thing. I think the biggest thing that I've noticed with Toronto, at least, is, I mean, their defense is older. Up front, they're fine. They're young. They're good, but their defense is I think pretty much all of them, with the exception of one, are in their 30s. So, I mean, and when everybody talks about how many shots they block. Well, yeah, they block a lot of shots because the puck's always in their end, or a lot.
Well, no, you're right.
I mean, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I mean, you're 4 games into this season, I think, or 3.
3 months tonight, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not time to panic. Things could turn around in a hurry and get a lot better.
Well, I mean, I'm with you on that. I mean, I'm just going to kind of echo what you said, but my concern is, and we discussed it ad nauseum last year, was the consistent pounding that he took, particularly Tanev and McCabe. And this isn't by accident, folks, as we all know. I mean, against Florida last spring, Tanev was targeted by every Panthers forward, and every player made sure he got a piece of him going by him, and if they weren't running him. And listen, teams around the league watch film, and they saw how effective that was. So they didn't know how to defend against them. And the Leafs are seeing that right off the bat in the first 3 games. And by the way, this isn't a new concept or new formula as far as defending against the team. You can go all the way back to 1974, the Philadelphia Flyers beating the Boston Bruins for their first Stanley Cup win. And the plan was not to keep the puck away from Bobby Orr, but rather dump it into his corner every chance Philly got and make him handle it. But also every forward took a piece of him if they could. Well, eventually wore out Orr, and it worked. And they grinded their way to a Stanley Cup victory. So we're 3 games in, and at least for the first 2, or look like they're running around their own end a little bit, which is way, way too much. And to your point, D looked a little bit slow moving around. And again, these guys, they've got to do something better and keep that puck out of their end. I think they were 30th or 31st of most minutes spent in a defensive zone in the league so far. Now, it's only 3 games. But, again, these older guys are not going to take this pounding for 82 games.
No, it's going to be tough if they have to do that because, like I said, you look at Tanef's 36, I believe. I think the only one that's under 30 is Benoit, if I'm not mistaken.
And I think Carlo. Carlo 30. Carlo, I mean, they're the 2 closest ones. They don't have any young
guys up there.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. Like, they don't have a Makar or someone like that, or Wawinski, who, are in their mid 20s and at the top of their game. And I think that's one of the things that they do need is they need some younger bodies to lug the puck and make plays.
You're 100%. And remember, the other thing we have to keep in mind is they aren't just dealing with Florida, Tampa, and Boston anymore. And even though Boston's supposed to be the bottom of the pile this season, they're 3-0 to start. And you maybe throw Ottawa in there, but now you got to deal with Montreal and Detroit who are getting better. So these are all playoff threats. So it's only going to get tougher. So they better wake up pretty soon on this, because you don't want to fall behind any time throughout this season, because the points are going to be much tougher to make up.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as the year goes on, the points are definitely a lot harder to pick up, and that especially after New Year's, because then it's kind of like getting close to playoff time, and teams are playing like they do in the playoffs. So, I mean, yeah, it's early. I mean, I don't think anybody should panic, but things have to change pretty quickly, or there will be a lot of panic in Toronto, as you well know.
Well, yes, exactly right. We do know that very, very well. So let's shift gears a little bit here, and instead of talking about that 16 who's got the unmentionable name that people don't want to talk about anymore, that's no longer here, let's talk about the guy number 34. In your view, what would be a perfect season for him, besides winning a Stanley Cup, obviously?
Well, I would say probably scoring 50 again. I mean, he's very capable of doing that, and I think, I mean, that if you think about it, that's what he does. He scores, and that's kind of what he's been doing since he's came into the league. And I think they need him to score, but not empty net goals and that sort of thing, but they need him to start producing when it counts and when it matters. Just like everybody else, but when you're looking at him, that's kind of the thing that he does, and they need him to start putting the puck in the back of the net when it matters.
Well, I mean, you and I have discussed this also many, many times over the summer. I mean, in my view, he has to have more assists than goals. I mean, he's one of the few guys at his level that doesn't do that and cut the goals against down. And and again, he's a very good defensive player, so that's just an added bonus. Yeah. To me, that would make a really positive year. But here's the kicker, and again, you and I again have discussed this endlessly: is he has to drive the number one line and make his wingers better. It's just as simple as that. Playing him with Nylander, which is the talk that's going around, is like kicking the can down the road, because it's just another version of Marner. And yeah, they'll make magical plays and they'll make all the highlight reels and all that stuff. But when it counts, they'll be shut down, because, as we all know, and there's no knock on Willie, but he's just not a physical force in the playoffs, and he's not that type of player. So if the Leafs have any hope of extending their playoff run, they need to play way more physical, or as Brian Burke identified to us 17 years ago, remember, in 2000, Toronto needed more truculence. And guess what? They still do. And while this is worth repeating as well, Mike Babcock never, ever wanted to play 34 and 16 together. We can see now why. And it cost him his job to a degree. But you know what? The problems that were identified by those guys back then are still the same issues they have today.
Yeah, and also I think the one of the other big issues right now, I mean, again, it's early, is the power play. Power play has not been that good so far. And, you look at Montreal scored a couple of power play goals against them. And so they gave up some power play goals, but they haven't been scoring on the power play. So, that becomes an issue too. So is it, Morgan Riley on the number one power play on the point? Should they go back to the 5 forwards? I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can look at, but I think the first thing is playing better in your own zone and exiting your zone cleanly. And if you're able to do that, they got guys that can put the puck in the net if you can exit your zone cleanly and get it up ice, and they can make things happen offensively.
No, I agree with you. That's exactly what they have to do. And again, they're also one of they're near the bottom of the league as far as offensive zone time as well. So on both ends of the ice, they've been struggling so far.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 180 minutes of hockey so far. So I mean, it's really not a big sample size, but it's still, the point is getting there. But again, this is why it falls back on him, Matthews. I think he's got to lead the charge. I mean, it is kind of interesting that the bottom six has outperformed the top six. And when have we been able to say that about the Leafs? I mean, if you take a look at it, Waz played terrific so far. It looks like Joshua's going to be a keeper. And poor old Steven Lorentz, he looked like that he was off to a great start, gets hurt. And even Lawton had come in full of fire and looked great throughout camp and gets hurt. So a little bit setback there. But the good news is Calle Yenrock looks like the Calle Yenrock that they acquired from Calgary a couple of years ago, which is a good sign.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think their bottom six has been fine. I don't think they've played badly. And it's those two big 1 and 2 lines that really need to start putting up some offense and play good defensively at the same time. The bottom six are playing good defensively. They're getting the puck out of their zone, and they're getting a little bit of production out of them. So let's hope that continues, and then the other two lines pick things up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get 88's got to pick it up a little bit. Like, this is where he should be, picking it up, because you can see it's hurting John Tavares, who's working hard, but he's playing basically by himself right now. Now, Bobby McMahon was running around a little bit out there, and maybe he was trying to do too much playing with those two, so they moved him back a line, but they can move him back up the lineup if he gets his game and gets a little bit calmer on the ice. But overall, it's just a matter of time, because players like that, you can't keep them off the score sheet. You know that as well as anybody. I mean, you can't keep them off the score sheet forever. So it's going to come, and it'll come in bunches, but you just don't want to let it slide away on you and get, have those losses start building, or you got that bad play, because it is contagious, just like winning. So I have faith they'll turn it around pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, certainly hope they do, because you don't want to fall behind. I mean, and you look at Montreal, Ottawa, they're decent teams, and they're off to decent starts, and you got Boston 3-0. Who would have thought that? And of course the Panthers 3-0. So, I think things have to turn around pretty quickly, though, because you don't want to find yourself with one win 10 games into the season or 8 games into the season and sitting in 5th or 6th place in the division. That's certainly not a good place to be.
Well, I think the one positive you can take away from this, and again, like a typical Maple Leaf fan looking through rose-colored glasses, is they aren't playing their best, and they're not getting away with it. Bad plays ending up in the back of their net. So there's no, as they say on Bay Street, there's no free lunch. So every 2 points is going to, again, repeating ourselves here and just alluding to what you're saying, every 2 points is going to have to be earned. And I think this group is had it made very clear to them in the first 3 tilts of the season. So they realize, I think the light has gone off that, hey, we're not going to be able to just walk through this season anymore and just these guys are going to roll over a little bit for us. Not that they would ever think that, but it's going to be a little tougher now, because every point's going to matter. Because remember, Detroit missed by 1 point 2 years ago. So every point.
Well, you can bet that Craig Berube is not letting his foot off the gas with these guys. He's probably all over them and being a little bit hard on them right now, because this can't go on for much longer.
But win one tonight, win on Thursday, and you're above 500, and then you got Seattle here on Saturday night. So you know what? That's how quick it can turn, but it can go the other way real quickly too. So in about what time we got here? About a half an hour or so, we're going to get a good look at Game 4. And because Toronto has 7 new bodies in and out of the lineup, it takes time to gel, as you are very well aware. So with that in mind, Squid, we're going to start our new season off with the quote of the week, just geared towards that. And you just give me the go ahead.
I'm ready.
I'll give it to you.
I'm ready. You know that.
There you go. You're always ready. All right, here we go. Gathering together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. and working together is success.
Where the heck you dig that up? Because that's pretty good.
Not bad, eh? Not bad. I thought that one was pretty good. I got my little secret stash to go and steal.
I think that one's excellent, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, and I think that one just says it all. That could almost be a motto for a team in their dressing room.
It could be, yeah. I mean, I might put that up on the wall with the Saints this year.
Hey, listen, while we got a second, I forgot about that. Tell us about that. What's going on there? Like, talk about your new adventure. I mean, we talked about it late last year, but you're now head coach of the St. Catherine Saints in the Senior A League for the Allen Cup Loop, they call it.
Yeah, and it's been slow so far. Like, I was there Saturday. We had 9 skaters and 3 goalies, but I think I know Justin got me a player. I think he lives in Niagara Falls, so he's going to play. He's played in the American League and the ECHL for 7 or 8 years. So he's probably 30, early 30s. Probably end up being a good player for us. I think once a couple of the ex-pros come out, then I think you're going to see more guys come out and want to be part of it. And I think that's what it's going to take.
When does the season start?
Well, it doesn't start till November. So we got practices every Saturday, I think, the whole month of October and early November. And then I think we get started around the 10th or 15th of November. And don't forget, there's only 20 games. So there's only 10 home and 10 on the road. So it's not a long schedule. It's 20 games and then playoffs. And we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, because the playoffs are long. Because if you go to the Allen Cup, it's a long road. You play a lot of games if you go to the Allen Cup. So,
yeah.
Well, folks, this is I mean, we'll keep you posted on what's going on throughout the year because it's a very good league. The hockey's excellent, and you're dealing with one of the oldest trophies in all the sports. In 1901, I believe it came out the Allen Cup. If memory serves me correct, pretty close to around 1901, 1905, and around that level. But it's a very highly coveted trophy. A lot of great hockey players over the year have won it. And it's great hockey. St. Catherine Saints, they're taking a name from the former Toronto Maple Leaf minor league team that played out of there. So we're looking forward to that. So the home opener, we'll be looking forward to attending that. But in the meantime, folks, that's all we have for today. Don't forget to check out our library of Squid and the Ultimate Leaf Fan podcast. They had no shelf life. Remember, there's some dandies in there. We have lots of rooting to do for the next week with the Leafs starting tonight, the Jays tomorrow over the next 3 days. We need to get them back on track, especially the Blue Jays. So let's cheer loud and long for those guys. Let's not give up, folks. There's still lots of sports left to be played. So on that note, and until next week, thanks everyone for listening.
That's a big thing is with the Jays, especially is like, Seattle has to keep playing the way they are. If not, if the Jays start getting hits and driving runs in, I mean, who knows what can happen. I mean, I know Seattle's got a good pitching staff. They got a good bullpen. They got some good hitters, as we saw, 3 home runs last night. And but hey, it's baseball and you never know, right?
It's why they play the games, because you never know.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's all for now, folks. We'll talk to you next week.